4 Charlie Delta, radar contact 3 miles east from McClellan Airport. Sacramento altimeter 29907, say altitude leaving, and verify climb at 9,500.
29907, leaving 2,000, going 9,500, 4 Charlie Delta.
Good morning. Welcome to Flying Squawks and Money Talks. Woo! We got Austin with us today, and we got a new person, Zach.
Nice
and
to meet you.
We got a different airplane today. So it's been a while since we made a video because we've been working on a type rating, which is getting rated to fly this jet. This is a CJ1, and we're flying it. We're flying it out to see some clients in Columbus, Ohio. Zach is my partner's pilot. Austin is my pilot in financial advisory. And we're just chatting about investments today. We're just south of Salt Lake City right now at 37,000 feet, going about 450 miles per hour across the ground, which is pretty cool. So Zach had some questions for us when it comes to investing and his background. Why don't you go and share your background? What do you do?
My background essentially, well, let's start financially. I started investing in the mobile home park asset class in my early to mid 20s, just because I was lucky enough to have family that was involved in that, and really made some good money and had some great investments. I was a corporate pilot in my my previous job. I know I'm still a young guy, but I'm on my next career right now.
Do not exceed 250 knots per station.
But yeah, I had a corporate flying job with a big energy company. Had a pension. Only worked there for about 4 years, so just a small pension, but was vested, and then also a 401k that they did a match with me. So I basically maxed the match out.
Free money.
Yeah, maxed the match out every time I could. No longer doing the corporate pilot gig. Working kind of with the family business, doing the mobile home investing, because I saw the opportunity there and the wealth that could be built. So now I'm running around running operations for RV and mobile home parks, and flying the jet, and working 7 days a week. So I guess I'm a glutton for punishment, but having a lot of fun. But my question is now, most of my investments are in the mobile home and RV space, which I think are great, solid investments. But aside from the small pension and small amount of money I have in a 401k, I'm curious, what should I do to diversify myself? And what do I do with that existing 401k account and the pension? And should I start contributing money to other things besides the mobile home space? So
You betcha. So Zach's first question is about diversification, and of course, we firmly believe to have different pots of money. So we would actually encourage Zach to diversify a little bit. So he's got a start there with his old 401k, so he would actually roll that 401k over to an IRA. And all it's staying tax sheltered, so the government's not going to tax it. So he rolls it over, and then financial advisors like Austin and I would start managing that money for him, because he's too busy to manage that money. He's busy flying and doing mobile homes and RV parks and all that. So we take that money based on what his risk tolerance is. So we would figure out what your risk tolerance is. My guess is your risk is going to be pretty high. So you're going to be mainly probably a stock portfolio with us, where we're either going to do it through mutual funds, ETFs, and or individual stocks.
What are ETFs?
Electronic traded funds. So it's an index. You've heard like the S&P 500.
Yeah.
Well, if I buy the S&P 500, I'm buying that index. I'm just buying all 500 companies, 507 companies that are in the index. But I can do it by purchasing one ETF that, in a sense, mimics all those companies.
Gotcha.
So that way I'd have to go buy 500 companies for you. That'd be a lot of work. So the other thing that we would do with Zach is, Austin was talking to him earlier, that we would do a Roth IRA. He's still fairly young, and he can put up to $6,000 a year into a Roth. Just take some money out of his pocket, put it in a Roth every year, $6,000. When he gets to be in the 60s or 70s, whenever he decides to need some supplemental income, he will be able to take that money out tax-free then. So it grows tax-free, it comes out tax-free. The other thing he might consider doing, if he stays in a lower tax bracket, which he can do with some depreciation stuff through the trailer parks, is we might have him convert his IRA to a Roth IRA and let it start growing tax-free. So that 401k that gets rolled to a Roth IRA, converted to a Roth. Now,
so I would just pay the tax on the existing balance or whatever.
And maybe you do that over a couple of years. Maybe you say, you know what, I'm going to take half of it this year and move it over to a Roth.
Got a guy.
And then I'll take the other half next year and spread your tax out over a couple of years. But since you're so young, you're going to have, 20, 30 years to let that grow tax-free now. So it could be worth going ahead and converting it all to Roth at this point.
Yeah, and I've such large losses actually currently just through all the bonus depreciation that we've had over the last couple of years with all the properties that it's probably a smart time to just do it now and get it done and suck up that loss while I have it,
yep.
Right?
Pay the tax, and then it's tax-free the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And then comes out tax-free.
I like tax-free.
Yeah. Most people do. We don't find too many of our retirees that like paying taxes. Like, I already paid my taxes. Why am I paying again?
Okay, so essentially, if we convert that my current account to a Roth IRA, which sounds like the direction that's right for me, and then I contribute however much I contribute each year after taxed. No, it's always $6,000, or
right now that's the government's limit is at $6,000. So
gotcha.
You could set up and say, some people like to put in lump sums. Some people like, you know what, Ron, I just don't want to see it. So what we'll do, we'll electronically just link up to your checking account or your bank account, and we'll pull $500 a month for you.
Okay.
And that way you're dollar cost averaging. You're buying in at different times as the markets are moving. It's called dollar cost averaging. And kind of like you were doing your 401k. Every paycheck you had money going in.
And do you like that better than just one lump sum at the beginning or end of the year? Or does
they both
really
work.
Matter?
It depends on what works for you.
I like it better. Just because you're buying at different prices throughout the whole year. As this year, when markets were dropping, if your big contribution went into January, then if you were doing monthly, you would have been catching all that downturn, getting all those discounts, to where you would have missed that if you just did one contribution. Now, not every year is like that, but we keep getting a lot more volatility as time goes on, and so it's nice to get those monthly contributions buying in at different times.
Got you. So, Tesla and Amazon were just going through the roof. You'd be putting that in every month and catching that in smaller increments, but you'd be catching that along the way.
Yep,
okay.
Absolutely. And that's why we're loving 401ks now, because 401ks have attached the Roth option onto them. So outside the 401k, you're limited to $6,000, but in the 401k, you can do $19,500 right now. And so that allows you to get so much more Roth money put away through a work plan.
Gotcha.
Which a lot of the 401ks are adding that now, which is really nice.
We'll have to talk to your current employer about starting a 401k for you.
Yeah, I think so. Definitely. Maybe we have a meeting next time we're doing the show, huh?
Absolutely.
Okay, so essentially, if I wanted to, I wanted to switch over and have you guys manage my current 401k. So, like I said, I had a bunch of company stock that with this energy company that took a big hit over the last couple of years. So
yeah,
I had some pretty big losses. So I $30,000-$40,000 in that account, and then plus the pension. I don't know what the value of that is now, but essentially you guys could take a look at that and advise me, hey, let's either keep the pension or blend them both into a Roth IRA, pay the taxes, and get you going at $6,000 a year. And
correct.
Then you guys would just manage it from that point?
Correct.
Yep.
I like it.
And I'll take a look at that.
Okay, 340 for 1 Mike Bravo.
Yeah, for me, it's fun to look at the stocks and I probably would be more into it if I was vested with somebody that I could communicate with on the regular, not just like a big entity that's managing thousands and thousands of people. But I don't have the time to manage it myself and follow all those trends and do the magic that you guys do. So, yeah, pretty interesting.
So one thing that I'm doing is I have the EFB Pro, which is a program we use. So what I was doing while they were finishing up their conversation there was I'm entering my speeds for landing. So I'm going to call VREF. I'm going to land at 101, approach at 108, set my power for go around at 97.3%. So it's a program that gives me this. I was programming stuff, looking at stuff, and the analogy for that with what we're talking about with Zach is I had to do some planning. I had to enter some data and whatnot. And that's the same thing with Zach is if he does end up joining our company, we're going to do a lot of planning for him to have data, and we're going to always be updating the data as we get further down the line. So think of today's flight from Sacramento all the way out to Columbus, Ohio. We have a lot of points. We're stopping in Nebraska to get some gas. And Zach and I had a lot of planning to do to figure out to get from A to B to C. How do we do it? What's the weather going to be like? What are our settings supposed to be? And we have to do the same thing with his financial planning is we'll have to figure out what does he look like today? What do his assets look like? What's his income look like? And what are his goals? So, does Zach want to retire at age 60, 65, 70, or is he planning on working until he dies and he just wants to supplement his income someday? And so we'll enter all that data into our system and analyze, well, what kind of income will he get from his trailer parks, RV parks someday? And we'll try to analyze that. And then every 6 months, we update it. It's not just a plan that we put in the drawer. It's on our system to where every 6 months we go in and re-update it and reevaluate and see if his goals and dreams have changed any.
So you're not just managing the portfolio per se. You're also looking at my income, my other assets. So you're taking everything. It all into consideration.
If you settle down and find a wife someday, we'd look at life insurance. You probably don't need life insurance right now because you don't have another person that's dependent on your income. But, if you do someday, we'll look at that. We'll look at long-term care. What's going to happen when you get old? Who's going to take care of you? Do you have insurance to take care of you? We'll look at that type of stuff. How are your assets titled? If you died today, are they titled properly to go on to where you want your assets to go if you die? I'm assuming, maybe your mom, you'd want her to have those assets for right now.
Yeah.
So, is everything titled properly so that she gets it without hassle and without a lot of tax?
Gotcha.
So those are the types of analysis that people don't think about or want to do. We do it for you.
Wow. Yeah. And that's all built into the fee that you take.
Thanks for bringing that up. So some people say, well, I can find an advisor that'll do this for 1%, not 1.3%, whatever the going rate is out there. For us, we figured out that 1.3 is a good number for us because we include everything for that. So there's no extra charges on top of that. We do your insurance planning, your estate planning, everything's included. We just happen to get paid off of the assets we're managing for you. But really, we're your full financial planner that's going to take care of all your estate needs. Now, granted, you'll need to hire a trust attorney if we need to build a trust. You'll need to hire a CPA if you need a CPA to do your taxes. But we're in the background coaching you on all that.
Gotcha. Well, it sounds good to me. If you're making money, I'm making money, right?
And that's another great point. You would think I coached him on this. I didn't. So we're participating with you. So we're always going to be collecting our fee. We have to because we have costs for doing things for you. But if you think of it, if your investments go down, we make less money. And if your investments go up, we make more money. So we have skin in the game. So we don't want you to lose money. We want your account to grow so that we grow with you.
You mentioned, my mother. It makes me think about, she's got a 401k from a state retirement. She's an older woman in her 70s, but very healthy, going to be around for a while.
Yep.
And I had her invest a certain amount of money from her 401k back in the mid to late 2000s when everything was taking a dive. So she put a bunch of money in the mobile home space and has made a lot of money. But those assets are stuck in that retirement account, and she can't use all the depreciation. So it's tax-free money that's been building and building and building, but she can't use the depreciation benefit from it. So we're looking at, well, how do we pull those assets out and, you know, pay the tax and do all that, you know, the right way where it's, you know, most efficient for her to, you know, have the best gains. And that's been an interesting one to try and figure out. And I don't know if
That's where we come in.
Yeah, so that might be another really great place to.
That's fun.
Because you guys can calculate, you know, hey, this is what the asset value is. This is what you're gonna pay in tax to take it out. This is gonna be the benefit if you do take it out versus don't.
Yep.
Gotcha.
So that's fun to me. I enjoy that analysis, and that's where we bring a lot of value. Because most people are like, sure, you know, I need a professional's opinion on this.
Yeah, because we call, you know, her or I will, and they just treat us like they're like. They act like it's their money and their investment, which, I mean, technically they hold it, but it's, you know, they're talking to us like it's, you know, we have no right to do anything with it. And I'm like, I don't think that's right.
No.
4 Charlie Delta, radar contact 3 miles east from McClellan Airport. Document altimeter 2997, say altitude leaving, and verify climate at 9,500.
2997, leaving 2000, 9,500, 4 Charlie Delta.